The problem is that adults today cling jealously to their childhood interests. They don't pass them down. They don't introduce a new generation to them. They hold on to them and say, no, this is still mine. This is mine. We are now in a season where we will begin to see more and more videos featuring those disturbing and rather bewildering creatures known as Disney adults. We've discussed Disney adults on this show before, although from my memory, they have never made it into the daily cancellation. And somehow, this is an oversight that I aim to rectify today. It turns out I've canceled my own wife during this segment more often than I've canceled Disney adults. So the scales must now be balanced. And these people landed on my radar once again, thanks to a recent viral video. Now, technically, this is not a video from Disney World. This is from Universal Orlando, just 10 miles west of Disney. But the phenomenon captured in the footage is the same that is seen in any video of Disney adults. So here we see a crowd of people rushing through the gates of at the grand opening of something called Epic Universe at Universal. Epic Universe, ChatGPT tells me, is a sprawling, immersive theme park that introduces 5 distinct worlds, each inspired by beloved franchises and original concepts. In the video world, the 5 worlds are based on Harry Potter, Super Nintendo, How to Train Your Dragon, and then 2 others. So here's the crowd that showed up for the grand opening, and in the words of every clickbait bot account on X, tell me what you notice.
Oh, wow. This is it! Wow! This is crazy. Oh my gosh. Oh, no one's going this way. Wow. This is madness. This is so cool. Oh my gosh. Oh, I love this. Wow. Oh, this is perfect. Wow. Wow. This is crazy. Wow. Oh my. Wow. This is so cool.
The guy recording the video is very impressed. He's repeatedly exclaiming, wow, this is crazy, as he stares at a bunch of buildings. There's nothing remotely impressive about the buildings, but apparently it's the most awe-inspiring thing he's ever seen. The video does capture something crazy, though, which is that the huge crowds of people running and skipping, and in one case actually jumping and clicking their heels as they descend upon the Harry Potter and Nintendo theme park, is comprised almost entirely of grown adults. There are maybe 3 or 4 kids visible in the crowd. The rest are adults who appear to be in their 20s, 30s, and 40s, and sometimes older. I can only imagine being one of the few parents who brought my child to the theme park grand opening on that day, excited to show them the How to Train Your Dragon ride, only to find that there's a 2-hour wait at the roller coaster because a bunch of people who graduated high school in the late 90s had gotten there before me. That's like my kid being forced to wait to play on the swing set at the playground because all the swings are occupied by grown men. It's like if I took my kid to the mall in December to meet Santa, only to find out that there's a 3-hour wait because a bunch of childless adults are taking turns sitting on Santa's lap and telling him that they want a Barbie doll for Christmas. It is a sad state of affairs, in other words. And it only gets sadder when you travel over into the world of Disney adults. There are thousands of videos floating around social media like this one, where we see a group of 40-year-old women, no child in sight, dressed like princesses while they record choreographed TikToks at Disney. Now, there are also, and you can see the video there, there are also many videos like this one, where a grown woman breaks down in tears at the sight of Cinderella's castle at Disney. Watch this.
Now everything's technicolor. Hey now, this is what dreams are made of. Hey now, this is what dreams.
Now, if you've ever been in a delivery room, you have seen reactions like this. A mother meeting her child for the first time, overwhelmed by the beauty of this new life, overflowing with love and happiness. It's a sacred moment. And that is an appropriate reaction in that context. But that's not what's happening here. This woman is not meeting her child. She is instead seeing a tourist attraction built for a child. And there are many more examples like this that we could play, but the point's probably been made. There are also more practical videos by and for Disney adults. Like this one, for example, giving some tips and tricks for morbidly obese Disney adults who break out in strange, unsightly rashes while pursuing the park. If you have, perusing the park, rather. If you have this issue, then here's some tips for you. Watch.
Have you been dying to get the Disney rash? No, probably not, but it does happen. Hey everyone, we're plus size park hoppers and we range in sizes from 2X to 5X. Make sure you like this video and follow us from our plus size Disney tips and tricks. If you don't know what the Disney rash is, consider yourself lucky. It's also known as exercise-induced vasculitis. It can happen when you're exposed to heat and if you're exercising for a long period of time, which are both super common in Disney World because you can walk between 5 and 10 miles a day. The rash typically appears on exposed parts of your lower legs. It can cause an itching and burning sensation and just be downright uncomfortable. First aid recommended using aloe vera and cortisone to ease the symptoms. We've also seen some people put sunblock on their lower legs to try to prevent it. That's something we're going to try on our next trip.
Now, I'm not sure if TikTok is using some kind of new immersive digital technology, but I swear I could smell that video. Very, very strange phenomenon. And when you watch these videos of Disney adults, you may arrive at the inevitable conclusion that they are all mentally ill. Well, this Disney adult says you're right, and she's not afraid to admit it. Watch.
Disney adults have a mental illness. You have to be mentally ill to be a Disney adult. We know. We're completely aware of that. It's not a revelation. No, you really cracked the code there, Sherlock. Quick question though, would you name for me someone who doesn't have some sort of mental illness? Quickly, surprise, we're all just walking around out here with anxiety, depression, OCD, ADHD, etc. We just found something to cope with that you seem to have a problem with. Second thing, how is my mental illness any of your business or your problem? How are my coping mechanisms any of your business? It's a hypothetical question. You don't have to answer because it's not. You're a Disney adult. You must really have some childhood trauma. Bingo! You solved it again. And thank God I'm not taking that trauma out on other people. Instead, I'm going to a theme park and dealing with it and being happy by myself. There are a lot worse things I could be doing, honey.
Well, that makes it all the better. If you go to Disney with your children and are annoyed and disturbed by the sight of all the childless adults in attendance, you can rest easy knowing that they're all just using the park as a way to cope with their severe mental illnesses. In a world where traditional values are under attack, the Candle Club is America's premier conservative candle company. My all-new scent, Uncharted, is here. A strong, woodsy scent meant for blazing trails that makes even trips from the couch to the fridge an expedition. Smells like bergamot, whatever that is. That's one of the fragrances. Bergamot and balsam. I know what that is. Anyway, go to thecandleclub.com/Walsh today to get yours. That's thecandleclub.com/Walsh to get the Uncharted candle today. That should make you more comfortable sharing the park with them, shouldn't it? And this is not a small group of people. I mean, as we saw in the video, they're not small physiologically, but they're also not small in quantity. A recent article in Business Insider quotes one former Disney Parks executive who estimates that at any point on any given day, 40 to 50% of park goers are now childless adults. The same article details all the ways that Disney's embracing this change and investing in their new adult fan club. After all, childless adults tend to have more disposable income. So as far as Disney is concerned, the more childless weirdos who visit the park, the better. They have a lot more money to spend on hot dogs and overpriced plastic trinkets. The consequence, of course, is that as the park caters more and more to adults, it will cater less and less to children. This is a trend that can be seen across the entire culture and in many industries. Kids are getting edged out in favor of childless adults with the mentality of children. This is happening with theme parks, with children's entertainment franchises, even with toys. A recent report in the New York Post reveals that adults now account for nearly 30% of global toy sales. And that is, you could argue that adults account for 100% of global toy sales because they're the ones buying the toys. This is saying that 30% of toy sales are for adults buying them for themselves. Last year, adults bought more toys for themselves than any other age group. It's now more common that an adult buys a toy for himself than for a preschooler. And of course, the adults who like to play with toys and go to Disney World dressed like Disney characters, will often demand that the rest of us demand to know why the rest of us care. How are they hurting anyone? Well, I mean, this is how. Kids cannot compete with adults. If a critical mass of adults become consumers in industries that were once kid-centric, those industries will become increasingly adult-centric. Spaces that were meant for children and families will become spaces for adults without children. And we're seeing this happen all over the place. Fast forward another 10, 15, 20 years, and not only will Disney World be primarily occupied by childless adults, but it'll be considered rude to bring your kids because they ruin the fun for the adults. That's the way this is headed. And this is why we care. It's not just that we're creeped out by the Disney adult types because they're weirdos, although we are and they are. It's also that we as adults with children want to maintain at least some of the spaces in society that were meant for and built for children and families. Most of society is built for adults and caters to adults. There are not many places that families with young children can go without feeling like they're imposing on everybody around them. And now even those few spaces are becoming increasingly adult-oriented, all to cater to grown-ups whose tastes and interests have not matured at all since elementary school. Yeah, we find that frustrating, and justifiably so. It's not that adults can't have fun. It's that an adult's version of fun should grow and evolve as he gets older. I mean, if you're an adult on your own and you have money to spend, which you must if you're going to Disney World, and you're able to buy a plane ticket to anywhere you want to go, which apparently you can because you're going to Disney World, and you have all those options in the entire world, you could go anywhere, do anything as an adult, and you choose to go to Disney World? Of all the places on earth, of all the things you could experience, you want to see a castle. You could go see a real castle. You could go to places to see the ruins of real castles. Instead, you want to see the Disney castle. It's strange. And it's not even that adults can't enjoy things like theme parks and even toys and playgrounds. It's that as an adult, you're supposed to experience those things again with your child. You're supposed to pass down those experiences to your child. It's the eternal rite of passage. You take the things that you loved as a child and you give them to your child and you experience them again in the process of giving them to your child, but also in the process you're letting them go as you pass those things and those experiences on to your child. The problem is that adults today cling jealously to their childhood interests. They don't pass them down. They don't introduce a new generation to them. They hold on to them and say, no, this is still mine. This is mine. This is where the millennial obsession with nostalgia comes from. You know, for as long as my generation have been adults, we've been obsessed with nostalgia for things that we enjoyed as kids. Nostalgia has become its own multi-billion-dollar industry thanks to us, thanks to millennials. No other generation prior to millennials has had this ridiculous obsession. It's nostalgic. I just want to live in the 90s forever. But nostalgia for your own childhood naturally melts away when you have children of your own. And that's good and healthy because you can't spend your entire adult life pining for the days when you were in fourth grade. That's not healthy. That's not a path to success. Now, parents have nostalgia too. As our kids grow older, we're nostalgic for when they were little children, not for when we were little kids. So I'll give just one example of how this works or how this is supposed to work. There's a park near my house where I grew up, and the park is close to the airport. And when I was a kid, my parents would take us to play on the playground. It's just like a small little, humble little playground. But it's near the airport, so you could watch the planes land. The planes would fly overhead pretty close, and it was fun as a kid to go. And as I grew older, into my late teens and early 20s, I used to drive by that park on the way to work and that sort of thing. And I would look at this park and I'd feel a deep sense of nostalgia. And I would long to go back to the simpler days. But then when I had kids and they were old enough to appreciate it, I took them to that park. I was looking forward to like taking them. It's one of those things. I did this when I was a kid, bring my kids to it. 20 years earlier, I stood there in awe looking up at the planes while my dad stood beside me. And now I was the dad standing beside my own kids who had a similar look of awe. I was passing on those experiences. The park is no longer a memory that belongs to me. Now it belongs to my kids. And now when I'm back in the area and on the rare occasion that I drive by that same park, as I actually did somewhat recently, I'm overcome with a nostalgia again, but not for when I was 5 years old and my parents took me there, Now I have nostalgia for when my oldest kids were 5 years old and I took them there. I let go of my childhood attachment to this park. Now it's a new kind of attachment. I'm not an adult still wishing that I was 5 years old. I'm an adult reminiscing about the wild-eyed wonder and innocence of my own kids. This is how it's supposed to work. This is the natural and healthy course of things. This is the process of growth and maturity that Disney adults are refusing. Although admittedly, having said all that, I have no interest in taking my kids to Disney World anyway. Theme parks are hot, crowded, and miserable, whether you're a parent or a childless adult. I'd rather be thrown in a wood chipper than take my kids to Disney World, frankly. So I don't have a lot of skin in this particular game, but it's the principle of it. And that's why, regardless, Disney adults are today canceled. If you'd like to see what else I have to say, you can access my full show by going to dailywire.com or by going to the Matt Walsh Show Twitter page. Hope to see you there. Godspeed.